Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, there we go. All right, welcome everybody. Dr. Ben here, F8 Well Centers. We're going to be doing a live Q&A today, so bring any health questions you have in regards to autoimmune. Yeah, I'll be up for it today. I'm going to spend probably close to 45 minutes with you guys today and just bring in the questions. I'm Dr. Ben Gallagher, F8 Will Centers, and we have offices, physical offices in Colorado, multiple. We have in Tennessee, and we work with patients remotely all over the country. I've been in practice for over 20 years. We have half dozen doctors on our team at F8, and we work with patients to truly get to the underlying root cause of what they have going on. So pop down below where you guys are watching from. Love to see it all over the country, all over the world, and bring your questions, anything and everything. I would love to answer those in regards to your health, loved one's health, anything going on out there. So all right, hey Julie, just got lab work done with white blood cell, was a little high. What could that mean? So here's the range, Julie. 5 to 8 is going to be the optimal range for your white blood cell count. What does that mean, optimal range? Optimal range means that there's a healthy range and then there's the lab range. And those are two totally different things. Hey, Curly Cutie, good to see you. So white blood cell count is going to mean if it's high, that's an acute infection. Hey there in New Hampshire, good to see you. So here's the deal. If it's white blood cell count high, that's an acute infection. It means it's like active right now. If it's low, if it's below 5, then that's more of a chronic infection, like chronic Epstein-Barr, some type of virus, something like that. So you have some type of inflammatory process or infection in the body. We had Steve, anything I can do to lower blood pressure without medication. So Steve, here's the number one thing that we look at. Hey Jerry, good to see you in Fort Morgan there, and Tabitha. We'll get to everybody here in a second. So here's the deal with blood pressure. 95% of patients that we see with high blood pressure, when we stabilize their blood sugar, work on their liver, work on their gut, do a lot of these things, but most importantly, stabilizing your blood sugar 85 to 110 all day long with something like this, a continuous glucose monitor, you will see that blood pressure start to come down. The second thing that you would want to look at is what is called a brain map, and that is going to be looking at neurofeedback, looking at this anxiety wave pattern, and we've seen that a lot of times get people's blood pressure down as well. Hey Mary, good to see you there. What's your thought on hormones? So I'm guessing you're talking about female hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, things like that. I think that you need hormones. I think that you need testosterone as a female. I think that you need estrogens. Your testosterone is going to give you muscle tone, motivation, sex drive, get up and go, all these different things. And so, yes, you need hormones. Do you need to be slathering on or putting a pellet in your hip, anything like that? Maybe, maybe not, but you need to fix why your hormones are deficient in the first place. And that's the big thing that we're looking at is why are these hormones out of balance in the first place, and not just slathering on a bunch of hormones. You need to fix the why, and then if you still need a little bit of hormones, maybe a touch is going to be what you need, but not just slathering up a bunch of hormones. Hey, Joan in Pennsylvania, Becky, gyms or workouts that will work with someone at risk for adrenal fatigue. Hey, Becky, get a hold of your office manager, and we've got a course. We'll give you a 4-week free trial. My wife actually put this together specifically for people like this. They're 5 to 10 minute workouts for people that are potentially adrenal fatigued, and we'll get that free to you as a patient. So here's the deal. When you exercise too hard or too long, you're actually stressing out the adrenals. A long time ago in the old Soviet Union, when they were really good in the Olympics, they would draw people's blood, their athletes' blood, and check the amount of growth hormone, testosterone, looking at cortisol, all these things. And what they found was by 30, 35 minutes, even in these highly trained athletes, the amount of growth hormone, testosterone started dropping pretty considerably, but the cortisol started spiking up. So we know that if somebody's doing a higher intense workout for 30, 40 plus minutes, they are stressing out their adrenals, and they're going to be causing more adrenal burnout when you already are stressed out on life. So that absolutely, you need to go in the proper heart rate zone. 180 minus your age, 180 minus your age is where you want to cap, and you don't want to go longer than you feel good. If you feel tired after a workout, that is not a good workout. Tinnitus and vertigo help. Yeah, those actually are two different things. The tinnitus is going to be the ringing in the ears. That can be from a lot of different things. If we're looking at besides just a damage thing, then I would look at the liver, and possibly detoxification pathways could be part of that tinnitus. The vertigo, that could be a couple different things. It could be the ear canals, you've got fluid buildup in there. Could be that your cerebellum, the lower part of the brain, is out of balance. Quite a few different things could be contributing to that, but those two things are probably about the most broad potential going on of a lot of questions today. Okay, I also got informed that I have insulin resistance and want to put me on semaglutide BPC 157 injection. So here's the deal. Insulin resistance is not a lack of drug. It's not a lack of metformin. It's not a lack of your semaglutide injection. That's not what it is. It's your blood sugar spiking up and down, up and down, up and down, and causing that problem. So all you have to do is keep your blood sugar stabilized. Stop eating things that require this excess insulin, and so here's what it is. Insulin resistance is this receptor does not respond to insulin like it's supposed to. Insulin opens up the cell door, glucose goes into the cell, and then it goes and does what it needs to do. But what happens is we get gummed up, and then we're not responding to insulin, and so then the pancreas kicks out more insulin. And so, Julie, if you've got insulin resistance and these other things, you're probably starting to develop PCOS. You're probably starting to develop more testosterone and more DHEA in there. Tabitha, minor swelling in arms, legs, fingers, just started drinking more water, having blood work done, but could this be from water retention and sitting all day at work? Any tips to help with that? So here's the deal. Sitting all day at work is not constructive. They talk about sitting at work as the new smoking, the new drinking, all these things. It's very, very detrimental to the body. And so I would, first off, you notice that I'm standing as I do this, not just because I have ADD and I got to squirm around, but because I've got a standing desk here, I've got a standing desk in the other room. I'm standing, unless I'm sitting at a desk or the table with a patient, which would be kind of rude if they're sitting and I'm like pacing around them. I'm going to be standing all day long. So yes, you've got to get up, you've got to move. It could be water retention. It's not from drinking too much water unless you're drinking like 2 gallons, but otherwise, there's other things probably going on. I would look at the liver. You want to check AST, ALT, and GGT. Make sure you get that one done. You want to look at your hormones. You want to look at inflammatory markers, CRP, homocysteine, all of these different things. We run all of these markers with patients. If you're not getting the blood work that you need, if you're not getting the support you need, click that link in the bio, send us a DM, and we will get a hold of you and set up a discovery call where we can sit down and talk you through this process of what you truly need. We can drop ship the blood kit anywhere in the country. So if you can't get into our Colorado offices, if you can't get into our Tennessee offices, we can sit down and send this kit to you. You get it drawn locally, spin it down, send it off to the lab, and within 7 days we get the results back. Way more than your doctor is going to be running with you there. Steve, you're so welcome. What kind of, ooh, I don't like it when kind of hormone cream do you recommend? Baby girl. So here's the deal. Very rarely do I recommend hormone cream. I recommend you getting your body healthy, you getting your body fixed as much as feasibly possible. Then if you need some hormone cream, if you're still low progesterone, maybe do some natural progesterone cream. But if you are going to do some hormones, you want to do what are called bioidentical hormones. But here's the deal. Why is somebody's estrogen low? A lot of times because their testosterone low. Why is the testosterone low? Because their DHEA is low. Why is the DHEA low? Because they're in a chronic stress state. So I always say a female's low testosterone is directly proportional to the amount of stress that they are under. So my guess is if you need some type of hormone replacement, you're probably in this stress state and you need to work on your adrenals as well. So Jenny, how long is too long to work out? If you are tired after the workout, if you're like, do you ever go to a CrossFit gym and people are just like, they're passed out when they're done? That is too long of a workout. You just pushed way too hard. If you're yawning in the afternoon, if you're getting tired in the afternoon and not having like this energy I have right now, I will still have this at 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. By 8 or 9 o'clock, I'm going to be ready for bed because I'm up at 4:45, 5 o'clock most mornings. So by that time, I'm going to be ready for bed. But all day long, I don't need coffee. I don't need a Red Bull. I don't need some kind of a stimulant. So if you are yawning and crashing in the afternoon, a lot of times that's because your workout was too long. But it's also the intensity. So I can tell if I'm pushing it and we're going like, hey, let's do these wall balls and then kettlebell swings and push. I start getting hot in my face. I track my heart rate. And so if I'm going over 140-ish, then I know that's going to be, okay, my body's pushing a little bit too much. So 180 minus your age is a great number for that. I lose feeling in my legs when running and feet almost like I'm floating. Yeah, Dee, interesting. So if it's the full legs and not just the feet, sometimes if you get numb in the feet, toes, things like that, it's the shoes are too tight, they're not fitting like they're supposed to. But if it's in the legs, I would get some x-rays of your lumbar spine, of your low back, and just see if you've got any compression in there. And so when you're running, if that's pushing on the nerves, that could be causing some irritation there. I had bad bleeding. This is Kayla. I had bad bleeding from periods as a teen, had insulin resistance, put on birth control. I've been on it for 7 years now. So Kayla, here's the deal. Going on birth control did nothing to fix the underlying problem. So why did you have heavy bleeding? Why did you have insulin resistance? Well, unfortunately, almost every young woman nowadays has insulin resistance because they're swinging. They're eating cereal, bagel, sandwich, whatever, and then it crashes down and they're up and down, up and down. That creates insulin resistance. That ultimately causes more insulin out into the body. That causes the ovaries to start kicking out more DHEA and testosterone, and then you get PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, you start getting chin hairs, all of these different things. So you've got to keep your blood sugar as steady as possible. You've got to look into detoxification pathways, a lot of things, and then you can start weaning off the birth control pill because that is not constructive to be on that forever. Hey Jerry, in Fort Morgan, good to see you. What is your opinion on hormone therapy replacement? I had a doc tell me if I don't add it in, my lifespan will decrease. Again, Mary, figure out why your estrogen is too low. Because that's probably what they're looking at. Figure out why your estrogen is too low. Nancy, I like yoga or bar. Yeah, and those are okay. But unfortunately, most of the yoga classes, things like that, you're not going to be developing muscle, and you need muscle tone. Muscle tone is going to really do a couple things for blood sugar. It's going to stabilize that. It's going to pull glucose out of the bloodstream. It's going to keep you strong so you're not falling as you age, things along those lines. On Pop, hello Ben. What could be the reason of Hashimoto's in childhood? Normally autoimmune is adult illness. Why children get it? Yeah, here's the deal. Last year we diagnosed 3 teenage girls with Hashimoto's. Why? Well, it's autoimmune is driven a lot of times by estrogenic events. Going through puberty is an estrogenic event. And so when we look at somebody going through that process, autoimmune is not generally it's not normally an adult illness. We see it in kids all the time. We see juvenile arthritis. We see psoriatic arthritis. We see Hashimoto's, all types of things. It doesn't matter anymore. That's like saying that type 2 diabetes is adult onset. there's teenagers now all the time that have type 2 diabetes, and that's food-based ingestion, what you're eating based thing. So yes, look for estrogenic events, probably puberty led to that. Are you good with a high intensity workout? So Debbie, high intensity workout for a short period of time. My wife's workouts that she's got on her website are 5 to 10 minutes, and that's going to be enough for the vast majority of people. So if you're doing that high intensity workout, you still don't want to go up to 170, 180 beats per minute and go that crazy. You still want to maintain at that 180 minus your age. But yes, that high intensity workouts are great. It's going to drive BDNF, brain derived neurotrophic factor, which is going to be stimulating regeneration of the brain, rebuilding, a lot of good things in there. So yes, that's great. I purchased my panel yesterday. Can't wait to find out what's going on. Tammy, let's do this. So Tammy just bought a blood kit, and what we're going to see in that, we're going to look at all of your inflammatory markers, C-reactive protein, homocysteine. We're going to look at your hormones, your estrogens, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, DHEA. So male, female hormones, adrenal hormones. We're going to look for Hashimoto's. We're going to look at thyroid markers, free and total T3 and T4. We're going to look at reverse T3. We're going to look at TSH. All of these different things to tell us what the hormonal system's doing. We're going to look for leaky gut, for infections, what's your blood sugar doing, all of these different things. And we're so excited, Tammy. So any one of you guys out there, click that link in the bio, schedule that discovery call, and we would love to sit down with you and go over what it would look like to drop ship this kit or come into the office and get the blood work done. And then we can see massive changes by figuring out what truly is going on there. So Tammy, excited for you. Great job moving your feet. I have metabolic syndrome from antipsychotics. Is there anything I can do besides quitting the meds? So Chloe, here's the deal. Antipsychotics do not help your metabolic syndrome. Sure. And yet, I guarantee you, you're not eating like you need to. You're not drinking like you need to. If you're drinking calories, if you're eating things that are spiking the blood sugar, crashing down, it's going to make it worse. My grandparents were both diabetic. I have multiple aunts, uncles, a lot of people that are diabetic. I have a cousin that just died at 52 of metabolic syndrome and a heart disease. So I know that I have the genetics that if I just let myself go and eat whatever, I would ultimately get diabetes, I would get metabolic syndrome, all of these things. So even though you're taking these antipsychotics, you can still keep that blood sugar very, very steady. So 85 to 110 all day long. If you need help with that, let us know. That's why we use the continuous glucose monitor. It's a game changer when we start looking at what the blood sugar is doing. Any advice on having POTS since COVID? Yeah, here's the deal. This is Rosie Loving Life. We see POTS. That's where you change that pressure change, where you go from seated or lying and you stand up quickly, and the blood pressure drops down because the blood vessels kind of go and don't hold the fluid up to the brain. So it pools, and so the blood pressure crashes, the heart rate goes up, and then you're like, boom, 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 the heart rate's going like crazy. We see this post-COVID and post-COVID shots for everybody that has it. If somebody says POTS, something that we see all the time now. So here's the deal. There's an adrenal component. The adrenal glands give tone to those blood vessels. So we've got to work on the adrenals. We've got to get them moving in the right direction, rebuilding, repairing through there. We've got to work on your inflammation. But we've helped many, many patients with POTS, post-COVID shots. So definitely a fixable thing. We have Deanna. Great to see you, Deanna. What is the best way to treat ferritin level if iron level is optimal? So yeah, I really don't care what your iron level is. We run it, but it's more about the ferritin. Ferritin is stored iron. And here's the two things to look at with ferritin. Anybody that follows me, you know this is my number one favorite thing to talk about as far as blood work goes. If ferritin is too high, that's going to tell us inflammation, fatty liver, insulin resistance, C-reactive protein high, triglycerides high, so many things. It's an insulin resistant metabolic syndrome type of a thing. yes, you can go and donate blood, but that's not going to fix anything. You've got to fix the why. You've got to stabilize that blood sugar. If we've got low ferritin, then it's going to be looking at leaky gut, malabsorption, something going on in the gut. You're probably not utilizing and absorbing that iron like it's supposed to. So I don't worry about the iron level itself. It's more important about the ferritin. So what about high testosterone for women with PCOS? How does that affect us? Well, high testosterone as a female is going to give you more chin hair. You're probably going to be a little more aggressive and attacking your husband, whatever it is. It's going to ultimately cause cysts on the ovaries, and that's going to affect hormonal cycles, ability to get pregnant. Long-term high testosterone, it could even cause male pattern baldness for women. So that it's a pretty big effect with Melissa. So what do you have to do? You have to stabilize your blood sugar. You have to fix your insulin resistance. You've got to fix that metabolic syndrome. Otherwise, there's no way that just taking a birth control pill or having a hysterectomy, whatever, is going to fix that, because it's the underlying issue. So what happens is when that insulin starts going up too high because of insulin resistance, it triggers those ovaries to produce more DHEA and testosterone, and then you start getting all these manly effects and things that you definitely do not want as a female. Over beauty bar, how do we work on our adrenals? So the adrenal glands, sorry about that. They sit on top of our kidneys. They are our stress glands. They're going to respond to stress of all different types. And jobs and cars and kids and COVID and presidents and gas prices and whatever else you want to stress about. And yet the number one stressor to the adrenal glands is blood sugar swings, especially dips. Every time that blood sugar crashes down, stimulates the adrenals to tell the liver to kick out glucose. So we get adrenals, adrenals, adrenals. Keep that blood sugar as steady as possible. That's going to be number one thing you can do. Number two is to get a brain map done and see if you are in a chronic fight or flight state. And that's going to take some massive effect if you can calm that down. Does wine mess with hormones? I wouldn't necessarily say wine messes with hormone, if it's half a glass a couple times a week, but if you're drinking like a bottle a night, sure, it's going to affect with hormones, because it's going to impair your liver's ability to detoxify those hormones. And if you're having a lot of wine and it messes with your blood sugar, causes that blood sugar to go up, can create insulin resistance, and then you get PCOS. So the wine itself, probably not, but depends on how much you're doing. I crash and need caffeine energy every few hours. Dee. So here's the deal. If you're crashing and need caffeine, energy drinks, whatever it is every few hours, start checking your blood sugar, either with a continuous glucose monitor or a finger prick glucose monitor, and just see what that blood sugar is doing. And a lot of times if we're crashing down, we're like, oh my gosh, I need something. And then you go and eat or drink something and it gives you some energy. But it's this yo-yo effect. So ultimately, you've got to stabilize that blood sugar, but you've got to start weaning yourself off the caffeine as well, because you're addicted, you're hooked right now. And I'm 25 now, and I want to get off of birth control, and yes, I definitely need help. Yeah, so long-term use of birth control. Birth control is not hormone suppression, it's actually hormone replacement. So if you've been on birth control for a long time, you've been taking extra hormones, and your body it's going to be hard to get back to optimal the longer you're on that. What vitamins can I take if I have the Mthfr gene mutation? So Andy, you would want to look at methylated B vitamins. So they'll say methyl, whatever there's a bunch of different B's that you can get, but especially the B12 and folic acid, you want to look for the methylated forms of those. And got a couple more here. Hold on, guys. Andy in Virginia, great. Deanna, to clarify, low ferritin levels in a runner, afraid to get iron too high with iron supplements. So here's the deal. If you're already low ferritin, and low ferritin is under 40 for females. So if you're low ferritin, you're not going to get high iron from taking iron supplements. So yes, you need to take some iron, but you also need to figure out why you're low in the first place. So if you're having extreme menstrual periods and you're bleeding for 2 weeks, that could do it, but otherwise it's usually a gut thing. Here's the deal, especially if you're kind of an intense runner. In the research, they stimulate leaky gut in people in research, trying to get leaky gut to do studies on that by doing super intense exercise, running hard for a long time, etc. Yep, Kathy, I'm a type 2 diabetic, 63-year-old female, ferritin at 255. Ferritin over 125 in female, and I guarantee you there's going to be some type of blood sugar, insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, fatty liver, triglycerides, whatever. So Kathy, pretty simple. We would slap a continuous glucose monitor on you. We would do an in-depth blood panel. We would work through whichever systems are out of balance there, liver, gut, whatever it is, and you could literally reverse your type 2 diabetes. You could literally reverse that high ferritin, and it's not just some genetic thing, and you could get your life back. Click that link in the bio, schedule that discovery call, and we would love to talk to you through this process of how you can get better. And your opinion on NADH? NADH, Pamela, try it. But there's specific types that I would do. You pretty much need to do the injectable version of the NADH. So anybody that hasn't heard of that, it's good for energy, a bunch of different things. But yeah, I would, try it, see how you feel. Okay, my chiropractic x-ray showed some discs, weren't what they used to be, but that was my middle back. So Dee Dee, she's the one with the legs going numb. So if they did not x-ray your lumbar, check that out. But otherwise, maybe some piriformis work as well. Could be some sciatic. Is it harder to lose weight while taking HRT for menopause? On Mounjaro, cal deficit and can't lose. Yeah, so Mounjaro is not this magic thing. So many people, if you look anywhere, just Google Mounjaro, and there's so many people jumping on that bandwagon, and yet it's not fixing anything. So is it harder to lose weight while taking hormone replacement therapy for menopause? Not necessarily. It's harder to lose weight because your body is out of balance with menopause, with the adrenals, with the liver, with the gut, with your brain, with whatever else is going on. Your body's out of balance, and that's why it doesn't want to lose weight. You fix that blood sugar, you fix that liver, you fix that gut, and that's when we start seeing the changes. Mounjaro will never fix anything. Could Sjogren's be a cause? My DNA health report says I have both recessive on the right alleles. So Sjogren's is going to be more of the eyes and mouth. You're going to get really dry, some things like that. But here's the deal: if you've got one eye, so look into some of that. Jocelyn, I just got test results back and would really like your opinion and you to tell me more about them. Yeah, send over, get a hold of us, schedule that discovery call, send over your results, and we can go. Rosie, any advice on POTS as an autoimmune condition? So some people look at POTS as autoimmune. There's usually other things. It's usually not just, oh, you're a POTS and that's it. Usually there's some other issues going on. But a lot of times POTS can just be an adrenal issue. The adrenals give tone to the blood vessels, and when you stand up quickly, they need to squeeze that blood up to the brain. But if not, then it pools, and then your heart goes boom, 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 and that blood pressure goes down and gets lots of issues through there. My gallbladder is partially distended and contains layering sludge. Can you tell me more? Yeah, so gallbladder, how many of you guys have had your gallbladder taken out, have had gallbladder attacks, any of those things? I mean, so many. So gallbladder, you need to start doing, there's a beet lemon cleanse that you can start doing to start breaking down that sludge. Just do a quick Google, or if you can't find one, let us know and we'll get it over to you. But do a quick Google search on beet lemon and the olive oil cleanse for the gallbladder, and that can make a big difference and start getting that sludge out. And I also lift weights, and I'm assuming that I have PCOS. Any tips to lose weight? I love protein. So if you have PCOS, if you have insulin resistance, if you're not losing weight, your blood sugar is not right. End of story. Get one of these, get a continuous glucose monitor. Every one of our new patients gets one, and you will be able to start seeing all day long, every day, 24/7, what that blood sugar does. Keep it as steady as possible. Yeah, it might suck. You might have to, cut out eating X, Y, or Z that's making that blood sugar go up or go down, but so it goes. Keep that blood sugar as steady as possible, and you can reverse all of these things, and we can help you if you need that. My mom's on metformin and has diabetes and heart issues. 2 on a blood thinner because of smoking. Kayla, yeah. So you've got those same genetics, Kayla. You've got the genetics that if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't do what you need to do, you will get diabetes someday. You will get heart disease someday. All of these different things, and that's not just from smoking. Any tips for ending a gastroparesis flare quickly? It depends. Here's the big depends. It depends on what you're doing as far as the cause of the gastroparesis. If it's the vagus nerve is not moving and stimulating like it's supposed to, and you're not getting peristalsis, then you might need to do coffee retention enemas. Hold it, and the body will stimulate to start moving that vagus nerve, moving that peristalsis. If it's a microbiome issue, you may need to do some in-depth kill-off quickly. If it's a stomach acid issue, you may need to take some betaine hydrochloride and do some kill-off through there. So Amanda, it really depends on where that gastroparesis is coming from. So you've got to figure out why that's there in the first place. Is it worrisome if glucose drifts up from 90 to 95 at bedtime to 110 to 115 in the middle of the night? Nancy, I would try maybe a little snack before bed. So if it's a drip, it depends. Okay, here's the deal. It depends also when you ate. And if you ate at like 8 o'clock at night, then it may still be going up over that time. But otherwise, it may just be that your liver is releasing some glucose throughout the night. So that's not a huge concern if we're not seeing any other issues through there. Cindy, thanks for the share. Kim, Michelle B, your workouts are great. Yes, thanks, Kim, for the kind words. Yeah, she's got some good ones out there. Just had my review of findings yesterday. Eye-opening, anxious to get started. Sherry, awesome. I'm assuming that's at the Tennessee office. Yeah, that great team down there. Man, they're on fire. They're changing lives left and right. So Sherry's so excited. So what did Sherry do, guys? Sherry went through the process, got blood work done, reviewed it with one of our F8 doctors, going through and going, holy cow, look at all these things that are out of balance. What can we do? Let's move our feet and get cranking. So Sherry's so excited for you. And good morning from Ken and Billy here in Crawford, Colorado. Hey, Ken and Billy, good to see you guys. What is a good ferritin level? So good ferritin level, write this down. You want to be between 40 and 125 for females and 40 and 150 for males. If you're over, inflammation, blood sugar, insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, all those things. If you're under, leaky gut, malabsorption, a bunch of issues through there. And had my 6-month blood work results last week and went from 9 A1C to 5.5. Dr. Steiner and Shauna have been wonderful to work with, and I'm so grateful to have found F8. I think I'm gonna tear up, Carol. That's awesome. Guys, let's celebrate. Everybody give Carol a huge high five, give her a thumbs up, give her a star, a heart, whatever it is. Carol took her A1C from 9 to 5.5. 5.7 is pre-diabetes. So Carol went from full-blown diabetic to not even diabetic, even pre-diabetic anymore. And this is not with Mounjaro, this is not with metformin, this is not with the latest drugs or insulin or whatever. This is putting a continuous glucose monitor on, figuring out what to do, changing that liver, changing that gut, all of these different things. And it's crazy to think the amount of money that, just from a financial perspective, the amount of money that is spent on diabetes and all the damaging effects of that high glucose. We are able to reverse it for pennies on the dollar compared to what the insurance model is paying every single day. Carol, I'm so proud of you, so excited. You have your life back and you know what you need to do from here moving forward. So cool, so cool. Everybody just give Carol a lot of love. All right, and Okay. Jenny from the other block. We come next week to the Tennessee office hoping we figure out what's wrong with my daughter. She is the medical mystery. Jenny, we'll be praying on that we're guided in how to truly get your daughter back to what her potential is. You know, she was put here for a reason. She has a path that is way more beautiful and powerful than anything we could ever imagine. But when health steps in, health issues step in, when disease states step in and block that, that is when I get mad. That is when I say, hey, you know what? That is keeping somebody from becoming and doing and being and giving so much more than we could ever imagine as a human on this planet. You know, we've got so much potential in every single one of us. People complain all the time about 20-something-year-olds that don't work, right? And they're like, oh, they're so lazy. And here's the deal. Sure, there's some that want to smoke weed and sit in mom and dad's basement and play video games. Sure, there's always been that person, there always will be. And yet I see so many teens and 20-something-year-olds that would love to be in college. They would love to be working full time. They would love to be having a life and dating and going out and living and having babies and all these things. And yet they are so sick, they are so ill, they cannot do those things. And it's not that they are so bad they can go on disability, they're not there. And yet, they're bad enough that there's no way they can go and get that full-time job. And so this is really where our job crisis is coming from. It's actually a health crisis that we are in that is a major contributor to this. All right, Sherry, can't wait for my appointment in Denver next week for me and my friend. Hey, Sherry, awesome. You get to go see Dr. Katie and Avery and Sean. They are amazing. And it's a pretty cool office. I really like that space down there. Highlands Ranch is an amazing part of town. You know, so way cool, Sherry, to see you go down that path. If any of you guys have gotten to that massive action. I cannot keep going down this sick care model, this path of, oh my gosh, what is the next drug? What is the next specialist? What is the next surgery? None of that will ever fix you. You need to do what you need to do inside of your body. Healing is from the inside out. Healing is not from the outside in. There's no amount of supplements that I'm going to stuff in your mouth and you're like, oh, I finally took 20 pills and now I'm fixed. Even supplements aren't going to fix you. It's giving the body inside out the healing potential to truly take that massive step into getting one's life back. And that's what I encourage you to do. No matter where you are in your health journey, let us know. And again, I could be on here for basically 24/7. You know, here I gotta go to this one. Sorry guys, I'm gonna interrupt myself. I was just diagnosed with MS at 34. Is it reversible? Cloud Enjoyer. Here's the deal, and this touches my heart. And so Jennifer, listen to this story and tell your friend that has MS. Get that crap thought out of their mind. Jennifer's friend said that has MS says no, it's not reversible. Get that out of their head. And Cloud Enjoyer, get that out of your head. Okay, my mom had MS. My mom, when I was a junior in high school, collapsed at one of my football games. My mom went and got MRIs and scans and all these things, and they figured out it was MS. My mom ended up going on all the drugs. Had to get a cane, had to get a wheelchair at Walmart. She had to go around in her little scooter. She was on this decline very quickly and was going to die. There was no way she was going to live into her 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever it was. My mom luckily found a doctor that practices very similar to what we do and said, you know what? I'm not going to go down that path. I'm not going to just rely on immunosuppression to try to squash down that. And my mom said, I'm going to fight and I'm going to go with everything I had. So she went through and did everything she possibly could, emotionally, physically, on her intestines, all these different things, everything that we do with patients. And she got to the point where she got off all of her medications. She gave away her wheelchair, gave away her cane, and she, on her last MRI, had no more plaquing. Her neurologist was like, this is really weird. You're not on any drugs. If you were, we would have called it a success if it was an experimental one, but you're not, so I don't know what to say. She's 79 years old now. She does Granny Boot Camp. She takes my kids fishing. She does all these things and does not have MS anymore. So Cloud Enjoyer, do not buy that BS that it is not reversible. I do not buy into that. I've seen so many patients in office that we have had that have been diagnosed with MS, and their MRIs start reversing. Their energy comes back. We've got story after story after story. So if you need help, if you need support, do not just go down that path and taking medications and saying that's the whole story. Do not go there. You've got to take massive action and start moving your feet to truly fix why you have that autoimmune. So hopefully you can tell that kind of stirs my heart a little bit, because like literally my kids could never have known their grandma. My mom would have been dead if they would have kept going down that path. How do you get a CGM? Mississippi Bear. This CGM right here, continuous glucose monitor. Every one of our patients are prescription only, and every one of our patients gets one. And yep, Luna Bella Monica. I honestly believe taking my blood sugar is awful, poking her finger, and interrupts my day. Should I use the monitor? So Luna Bella Monica. So here's the deal. For years, we just had people do finger prick glucose monitoring, and we saw miracles all the time. And so now that we got the CGMs, it's amazing. My son, my 18-year-old, he was eating like he was a 15-year-old that wasn't growing anymore, and he lost 15 pounds when he put his CGM on, just by paying attention to what was making that blood sugar go up. So a bunch of way to goes, Carol. So if you're still watching Carol on TikTok, so many people said great job. So many different things. So all right, I gotta jump, guys. I gotta go see patients. That's wrapping up. That's about 45 minutes. So love seeing you guys. Again, I could be on here forever and just answering questions. That's really my drive, is to get as many people their lives back as possible. And you have that potential. You have that potential inside of you to truly heal. And I just want to encourage you, keep watching YouTube. Over 700 videos. Keep watching Facebook. We go live all the time. TikTok, got hundreds of videos on there. Instagram, we're on as well. Reach out to the office, our website. We have tons of articles. If you are not on our email list, send us your email, DM us your email, and put that in the comments down below, and we will get you on our weekly email list. This is information that goes above and beyond things that I can talk about on social media, and you'll be in the know if we're doing workshops or webinars, anything at all. We'll be rerunning our blood sugar masterclass coming up soon. You'll get in the know for that one. So again, send us your email, and we would love to get you on that list. No spam, nothing along those lines. Just pure information, just giving you as much as we possibly can. Check out YouTube. You can search on there and look through 700 videos for every condition possible. But again, I love seeing patients get their lives back. You saw some of these comments, some of these, I didn't solicit those. I didn't tell patients, hey, jump on Facebook and come talk about that. That was happy, satisfied patients coming on, going from 9.0 A1C to 5.5, seeing these miracles. And that's the beautiful part. We have amazing teams around the country that are ready to work with you to get your life back. So if you need support, if you need help, click that link in the bio, schedule that discovery call, and we would love to walk you through this process. Otherwise, stay strong. Your body has the ability to heal. Do not give up. Do not give up. Do not give up. There is hope to getting your life back. Take care, guys.